Hello everyone and welcome to our October Christmas craft along. It is day one. I am super excited to be here and I'm super excited for those of you to be crafting along with me. I hope you enjoy this. Deb, Sherry and I spent a lot of time and energy really focusing on this event to make it amazing for all of you, and I hope you do enjoy it. Now, if you didn't have a chance to get the craft along kit, I'm going to show you what's in there so everyone gets to see what you all got. You will have a chance this week to get your own craft along kit. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be getting the pillow gift, but you'll be getting everything else. All right. And we have a 38-page PDF tutorial. There are, 13 projects I think we have. They are over the top. They're amazing, and you can do them. You can reproduce them. You can have all the instructions. You'll get your color PDF tutorial, which I have right here, and all of the pages and pictures are all documented for you so that you can make this again and again. And you're going to have some leftover supplies from your kit so that you can make more things. Now, I'm just looking over at my computer here. I just need to get to my page and make sure that I'm out there, that people are joining. I'm just going to wait for a moment to make sure people start joining me here. And big shout out to all of you that did purchase the craft along. Thank you so much for supporting my business. And like I said, Sherry, Deb, and I had a great time getting all this together. So I hope when you got your package, I believe everyone got their packages. It was like Christmas that day, right? You get to open all these fun things. Are you all ready to see what's in the craft along kit? Because I was so excited to pack all this for you. I don't even know what's in my goodie bag. So here's my pillow gift. I packed them all. I laid them on the table. I put them in everyone's kit, and I had one left over. So I'm going to be surprised, just as the rest of you were, when you got to open it, because I don't really know what items I put in here. I mean, I know the things I put in here, but I don't know the designs of them. Woo. All right, I'm going to flip my camera down. If you get dizzy, please close your eyes, and I will tell you when to open them. Yeah, just give me a second here. Okay, close your eyes, and I'll let you know. I won't start without telling you, all right? No worries about that. And we're going to take things step by step today. So you received this big old package in the mail, and in your, so can't quite see the whole thing the way I have my camera, but let's go ahead and start off with our pillow gift, because that's the most exciting part, right? There was one thing that I did. It wasn't that I forgot to put it in there, but I did forget to go and get fresh things for all of you. So I'm just trying to find my, here it is. Okay. You were supposed to get a package of hot chocolate, and I unfortunately, when I looked at my packages, they were all very close to expiration date. So I didn't include them. I didn't want to give you old food. All right, so let's open our cute little bag. Isn't this adorable? Oh my gosh. We had so much fun shopping. So we were at a live convention in Michigan, and Deb, Sherry, and I are like, what are we going to give? What are we going to put our little things in? What do we want to choose? And Deb and Sherry found these great things. I mean, they are awesome at finding all the little pillow gifts and stuff. That's not my skill. That is definitely their skill. And they come up with the cutest things. Okay, so let's just see what's inside. Let's move all our goodness over here, because we'll get to this in a minute. And hopefully it doesn't all spill on me while I'm, because it's a big stack of stuff. All right, let's open our kit. Let's open it up. It's like Christmas. Okay. Ooh. All right, so we have a pair of nice winter socks and our little gift baggie here. And then we got some mints to eat along the way. I may have to do that. Now, the candy canes, don't eat them. I am telling you right now, they are for one of the projects. So put your candy canes aside. These will go along with the hot chocolate that I did not include. So if you have a chance, go in and get yourself some hot chocolate, because you'll want to do this project many times. All right, I'm going to put that out. I'm just going to put this right back in the bag. All right, now what else do we have here? Ooh, we have our new sparkly embellishments, our gold shaker stars. I actually have one open, so I'm going to actually use my open one. So look at all these fun stars. Ooh, and I got them all over my table. That's okay. We're going to make a mess anyways. So we're going to make some shaker domes later this week, and we're going to be using these as embellishments. So one of the little tricks I have is pick these up like, papa seeds just on your finger. All right. You'll definitely want, when you're using these and you're not putting them in a shaker box, you're going to want a silicone mat. All right. So just put those aside, or something that's not going to stick to everything. If you don't have a silicone mat and you use the last of your dimensionals, you save that sheet because that will really help you too. All right. Then we've got our real red and white baker's twine, but there's something else in the little bag. There are some little domes. These are the shaker domes that we'll be using. So we'll be doing 2 extra projects with the shaker dome. So you'll have a third one to play around with and make your favorite project. These do have adhesive on them, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use these. All right. So that way you don't have to worry about it. I'll show you step by step. This is day 4, I think. All right, but you'll need your baker's twine. All right, so we got our shakers, we got our baker's twine, we've got our mints along the way. I've got my glass of water, I got my warm Snuggie socks, which today here in Wisconsin, I don't need warm Snuggie socks. It's pretty toasty. I'm going to go ahead and put all these back in my little bag here. All right. Zoom. Let's just close that up. Put that aside. And let's get to the rest of our kit here. So keep out your baker's twine. Keep out your shakers. You're going to need those. Also, I have my package of embellishments already open here. So I've got my embellishments because we'll need those today. But you have a brand new package. So let's open this up here. So we have a half a package of the Elegant Pines Designer Series paper. We're going to be using this all week as well. All right. So just put this inside for right now, just so it doesn't get bent up. I've got my traditional sequins. You're definitely going to be using those. You also have a little package here of dies, die cut items. Now, I had said in the email when I sent it out, slide these out carefully because they're actually stacked the way that you need to use them. Okay, if you spread them all over your table, it might take you a little longer to find. And in the very back, I did throw in some extra pieces. I was die cut happy, so I threw in a couple extra pieces for you just in case. I know I make boo-boos, so I just wanted to give you a couple extra just in case. I said just in case too many times, didn't I? All right. Because you don't want to wait till like Christmas Eve and realize you ran out of tape to tape your packages, right? Yeah, you don't want to do the same thing with your labels here. Okay, and then you have a half a package of the Christmas Traditions Mix and Match. There are 2 die cut sheets, so you'll be using these die cut sheets there. I think I actually have more than a half a package here. Yeah, I think I do. All right, so my little stash is a little bit more. We'll be using our Designer Series paper from here and our embellishments here. So let's put this, I'm going to put this actually right in here. That way when my pieces fall out, I don't have them falling all over. Another thing you can do is if you have a leftover bag from your die cut or your embossing folder or, your embellishments, you can use that little baggie to hold your loose pieces. It's really a game changer for you. All right. And then you have this container of 24 sheets of Designer Series paper. This is what we're going to be using to make all of our projects. And like I said, this is step by step. We are starting from the big sheet of paper all the way down to our project. All right. So let's go ahead and pull out one of the things that we do need for today's project. You need some white embossing powder, your Versamark pad, and your heat tool. All right. So if you don't have that out yet, go grab it. It'll take me a moment here because I'm just going to go through what we have. So again, you have a 38-page PDF tutorial with step-by-step pictures and lists all the measurements, and it gives you step-by-step instructions on how to create this card and the next card. All right, so I'm going to show you what these two cards look like. I'm actually going to be keeping out my directions here because a lot of times when I do this, I tend to just start going, and I don't follow necessarily the order in which I've created my tutorial. So because I'm doing this step by step with you, I do want to make sure that I'm following it as written. Okay, I need a trimmer with a scoring tool. This is going to be one of your most used items, so make sure you have that out. Okay, I'm just going to put all my things off to the side here. I'm going to bring in the two projects. So the first one that we're doing is this cute little accordion card. So right here I have linen thread. You're going to be using your baker's twine. All right. All right. And I'm going to give you some tips on where to put that baker's twine so it doesn't get all tangled up on you and that you're not able to open your card. Because believe me, when I first assembled it, I sealed my card closed. So I'm going to give you all the tips that you need to create this very funful gift card holder. All right, and the second one, and my little box fell out. So this little box that we're going to make, I'm going to put some of my peppermints in there. You can put whatever you want in there. And I'm just going to put this right inside my box, right inside my card here. And now we have a little gift card. Literally, a gift card. So it's a little card that's going to hold my gift. All right, so that's the second one we'll be doing today. I'm going to start here. I've got my dimensionals. I've got my little mint. All right. We're going to start with our Stay Warm stamp set. Some of you did order this with your craft along kit. You can add this to your kit. Again, I'll be offering it the rest of this week. There is a link in the video description. I'll make sure to put a link in a post on Facebook so you can see it as well. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description. All right, so you can add the craft along kit. You can add the stamp sets to it, the bundles. Okay. All right, so we're going to be pulling out our sweater here. I'm just going to get that kind of ready. I got my little sweater. Put that on my block. And make sure I have my cleaning chamois off to my side here. Make sure you have a new adhesive. Now, for this, I'm going to recommend using Seal Plus or Tear and Tape. All right. I find that those two are the best ones to, when I'm making 3D projects, to really hold it together. And I actually don't even know what I do with my Tear and Tape. I think I put it in tomorrow's bin. Let me just quick check. Oh, I sure did. All right. So I have Tear and Tape here. Tear and Tape, dimensionals, Seal Plus. All right, let's get out the cardstock that we'll need. Again, pull out your traditional sequins. We'll be using those. And we'll also be using some designer series paper. Let's get this cardstock cut first. So I'm going to pull in my directions here. Again, I'm going to go right to the directions just like you have them. I'm going to just flip over to my measurements page here. Now, all the pieces that you cut, make sure you save because you're going to be using those in other projects. So I'm going to grab a piece of old olive out of here. I'm going to just pull this all out. So for the next couple of days, I'm just going to have my sheets ready. I just wanted to show you the whole kit so you could just see what it looked like in its beautiness. All right, I'm going to pull out Cherry Cobbler here and Old Olive. Okay. I need a piece of basic white. Now, you have one piece of white that is thick, and it's the single sheet. Your other white, you have 6 sheets of it down below. On the other side of it, you'll be using those. All right. So I'm going to go here. Let's put this back in our little envelope so I don't lose it and use it for different projects. Alrighty. You're going to have some extra cardstock when you're done. I don't know how much of what, but you'll have a little extra. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my old olive here, and I'm going to cut one piece to be 4 1/4 by 9, and the other one's going to be 4 1/2 by 5 1/2. So you will need to actually use 2 different sheets of old olive. So grab the 2 sheets. All right, come on. There we go. All right. All right, so our first one here is going to be, you know what? I put 5 1/2 by 4 1/2. That's wrong. That should have been 4 1/4. I can't believe I missed that. Because it's just going to be a standard card base. All right. So let's just change that right away. So this should be 4 1/4, not 4 1/2. All right, that's why that wasn't measuring right. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut this 8 1/2 by 11 in half at 4 1/4. Well, not in half. Well, yeah, in half, 4 1/4. All right. So my first piece then, I turn and go to 5 1/2. And there we go. So it's my 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Then I've got my 4 1/4 piece here by 11. We're going to cut 2 inches off because I only need it to be 4 1/4 by 9. So let's just trim 2 inches off. All right. I'm just going to put this aside for later. All right. And now I need a piece that is 3 by 3. So we had this other quarter piece. You're going to use this one and cut this to be 3 by 3. Actually, you don't even have to cut it. You can leave it like this. We're just going to be stamping our sweater on here and then trimming it out. So you really don't have to cut it down. All right, so we've got those pieces. Now I need a piece of my cherry cobbler. So I need this piece to be 5 3/8. So it is the 2 tick marks before 5 1/2. So 5 3/8. And then I need this to be 4 1/8. All right. I need another piece to be 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. So I'm just going to turn this one. I'm going to cut this to 4 1/2. Actually, do I have enough space here? No, I do not. Okay. So it's going to be 4 1/2. And this will be, I said 4 1/2 and 3 1/4. And then I need a small piece that is 3 by 3. Again, that is for my sweater, so I really don't have to cut it, but I put those instructions in there just so you knew how big of a piece that you would need. I'm just going to use this whole piece here. All right, then I need my basic white, and I'm going to cut this to be 2 3/4 by 4 inches. So I've got 2 3/4. I'm going to just do, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to cut it at 4 inches right here. I'm going to leave that side, put it aside. I'm going to take this one now and go to 2 3/4. And then I'm going to do 1 1/2. Okay. This is actually going to be for your die cut label. So if you pull in your labels right now, this is the one that you want to pull out. That's what this one was for. All right, so this is the label that we're going to use. And now let's get to our designer series paper here. Again, all these extra pieces, I'm just putting in a pile next to me because I'm going to put that back in my kit and I'm going to use those another day. All right, designer series paper. Let's pull this out. I need one pattern that is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's see, which pattern did I use on this one? I used the one with the big star. Okay. I used Did I use this piece? You know, it doesn't really matter which piece you use. I think I used, I don't know if I use this one or this one. They're pretty, some of the patterns are pretty close, so I think I used this one. All right. So I used the one that had the blue back. Is that right? Just looking at the front of my card. Yeah, that's what I used. All right, and then we're going to use this one here. All right, so those are the two pieces I've used. We're not going to use the whole thing, no worries. We're going to have some left over for other projects. All right. So on this one, I'm calling this pattern, oopsie, hope I didn't put a hole in there, pattern 1. So pattern 1, I'm going to cut a 5 1/4 by 4 and a 2 3/4 by 4. So because I'm cutting two pieces 4 inches wide, I'm just going to cut this at 4 inches. Make it a little easier on myself. All right, so here we go, 4 inches. All right, so this one, our first cut here now is going to be 4 1/4. I tend to go kind of fast, so if I'm going too fast, leave a comment. Let me know that you're there and that you want me to slow down a little bit. I gotta make sure I'm seeing my comments here. All right, so I've got my 5 1/4 by 4 and by 4 inches, and so now I need this piece to be 2 3/4 by 4. All right, this saving till later, and this one here I need a piece that is 3 inches by 2 5/8. So I'm just going to cut this at 3 inches. And put that. So that's 3 inches, and now 2 5/8. So it's 2 tick marks after the 2 1/2. That doesn't seem good. I did do that at 3 inches, right? Yeah. All right, so I need that piece right here. All right, let's just take these. I'm going to move these off into my let's save again. There we go. Now, we don't need our trimmer anymore. The only thing that we need now is a piece of our baker's twine, and we need about 20 inches of it. Grab out your baker's twine. And I'm just going to take my ruler here. So I know this is 12 inches. And 8 inches. I'm just kind of, I'm not being exact. You probably have more than you need. All right, we'll just put that aside. All right, now we are ready to start stamping and assembling. All right, so let's just kind of pull our card out in front here, and let's just see what pieces we need to lay down. So first off, I need my 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. That's my card base. Then I need my cherry cobbler. That was 5 1/4 by 4. This is going to give it the strength that it needs. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere these together. As soon as I can find my, I really want my Seal Plus here. I pulled it out, but oh, here it is. Right here in front of me. All right. So let's go ahead and get these two adhered together. Come on. Now, when you're using Seal Plus, go slow, because if this catches the grain of the paper, it can tear your paper. So just take your time with it. Don't have to be speedy. Okay, and now we just need to center this. Now, it's a very small little layer. So just take a moment. All right, so we've got those 2 pieces. Now we're going to take our designer series paper that was 5.5 by 4. All right, we're going to lay that down also. There we go. Next, we're going to take our, just have to see where I put this. Okay, I put this behind my sweaters. All right. We're going to take our cherry cobbler that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So I'm just going to center it right on my card base. All right. If you're watching the replay, just say, hi, watching replay. Let me know that you're there. All right. Now we're going to take our piece of old olive that measures 4 1/4 by 9. And we're going to do some scoring. So I've got all my card base done. Now on this piece here, I need to score it at 3 inches and 6 inches. All right. I tend to like to use my scoreboard when I'm scoring. That's just my personal choice. But I do sometimes use my trimmer. I just like to be able to do this. All right. So I've got my 3 inches right here and my 6 inches right here. All right. And I'm just going to burnish my edges. Burnish just means kind of crease that really good. All right. I'm kind of pinch it between my fingers here too. And that is all the scoring that we need to do. Okay. Now we're going to decorate this up. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern 2 designer series paper that was 3 by 2 5/8, and I'm going to put it right here. Now notice it fits right to those score lines, but before I put it down, I want to put a little notch in here so that I can slide my gift card in and out easier. So I'm just going to grab my let's see, I have my 1 7/8 inch circle punch here. I'm just going to grab that. It doesn't matter what size you grab. Just grab a circle punch. All right, and I'm just going to slide this in. Make sure I'm kind of centered there. I only want less than half a circle. All right, so we're just going to pop that out. You can throw that piece away. Now you can use whatever designer series paper that you want to make your card. Feel free to change it up. All right. So if you like this side better, you can use that side. I'm just going with this because it goes with the old olive. All right. So this is where I want to take my tear-in tape now. You could actually use seal. You just want to make sure that when you have your gift card here. So what I like to do is I like to put my gift card just laying right here so I can see where I should put my tape. Now you could use your seal. I just think tear-in tape works better. It's a little more narrow. You could use liquid glue. That would work just as fine. But let's grab our tear-in tape here. And I'm just going to go along this side, top to bottom. And then I'm going to put a little bit across the bottom here. I don't want my card to just drop out of the bottom. Now the width of the tape is just a little bit more narrow than that backing is. Not by a whole lot, but. And then put this one right here. Tear-in tape, because you can actually tear it. If you choose to use your scissors or snips, you can. I'm just going to peel off this backing now. Ooh, my bin is pretty full. I should have emptied that before I started today. It's such a great feeling when your craft bin gets full because you know you've been creating a lot and using your supplies. instead of leaving them sit there. That's the whole goal, craft alongs, to use your supplies. So when you're done making the projects with the things that we've given you, grab out some of those extras that you have in your room and start going to town. You could change this up and easily make this a birthday card. You know, just change your designer series paper. Okay, so then I just need to slide this in. So just gently work it in, and it's going to stay in place. All right, I'm going to slide that out for right now, just because we're assembling things. All right, I've got my card base here. Next thing I'm going to do is I have that other piece of designer series paper, which was cut to be 2 3/4 by 4. So I'm going to put that right on the front here. Don't worry, we're going to have something on the inside. All right, so I've got that there. And now I've got my basic white that was 2 3/4 by 4. I'm going to put this on the inside. You can stamp whatever you'd like. The sentiment that I'm pairing with this stamp set today is called Traditional Labels. I love the traditional labels because it has those label dies that we're using through all the projects. But there are a couple other sentiment sets that I like. Snowflake Kisses, by far one of my favorite ones. It doesn't necessarily fit on the dies that we have, but it has a lot of variety that you can use for all winter long. All right, that is going to be a class I'm going to be offering in December. Well, probably end of November, beginning of December, because you can use it all winter long. It's not just for Christmas, all right? So these are traditional labels. This does really focus on the holidays. And again, here are all the awesome dies that come with it. So if you purchase the stamp set and dies that was sent with your kit, otherwise I've done all that die cutting for you. You're going to take your sentiment here, and I'm doing Sending Love and Joy. Now, if you don't happen to have this particular stamp set, use whatever sentiment set you have. We're going to pull in our, I think I said Real Red. Yeah, our Real Red ink. And we need our label. So pull back in this label. Now my stamp pad here does need to be inked, so mine is going to turn out pretty light. So I'm just going to hold it down for a few seconds, let that really kind of soak in. There we go. And then I'm going to bring my chamois in. Just go ahead and give it a nice little clean. I like to clean my stamps right away so I don't accidentally put my paper on it, because I've been known to do that. All right. So we're going to put that aside. And I'm going to just put this away because I'm done with this greeting. Take that off. We'll just leave that off for now. Okay. Next. All right, so I've got that and that done. All right. Now for this one, what you need to do on here is, before you put your linen thread, we're going to do our little sweaters here. And I don't know that I said that correctly on there, but I'm going to show you how it should be done. All right. Let's get out our sweaters. We're going to do our stamping, and then we'll come back and put this on. If you put your twine on right now, and you go to tie it, your sweater is going to sit over the top of it, which is fine. So if we do this, they need to untie this bow before they open it. Okay. I like to tie a knot. It makes it easier for me. Well, I guess I'm not going to tie a knot because we want them to be able to untie that. So just hold that snug. And I'm going to leave that pretty long because they're going to be untying it and tying it. All right. So now what I can do is I can actually adhere this down to the front. So again, I'm going to use my tear and tape. There we go. Okay, so we got that closed up. We're going to move this out of our way now, along with our sentiment. We don't want to get it all messed up with other things that we're going to be working on. We're going to pull this in. And I like to have a scrap piece of paper on my tabletop when I'm doing this. Reason being is I don't like all that powder to get all over my desk and feel gritty. I've got my little container here of my Wow white embossing powder. Right. That's empty. So I'm just going to move this up here. And I even got powder all over myself already. All right, let's take our sweater. Now this fits on our block just right if you're going the right direction. There we go. All right, I'm going to bring in my Versamark stamp, my Versamark ink pad, and I'm going to stamp one cherry cobbler and one old olive sweater. So we got our old olive right here. Now I'm not pushing really hard. I'm just letting that ink set in. If you push too hard, what happens is then that Versamark kind of gets all over and it will actually grab, the embossing powder will actually kind of grab onto stuff you don't want it to be on. All right, so we're going to pour some here. Now I forgot to use my embossing buddy before I did that, so we'll hope that it turns out. And then I like to just give it a flick. Now, if you find you have a little bit of extra, just take a little paintbrush and brush that off. We're going to be trimming this one out, so it's really not going to matter too much, okay? So now I can put that one aside. I'm going to take my embossing buddy this time because I should have done it the first time. And if I can find where I put it. I pulled it out specifically so I could have it. Oh, you're going to find I do this all the time. So, just have to get used to that for me. Things disappear on my desk a lot. Where could I have gone? I mean, seriously. Right. Empty bag. Trimmers. Adhesive. We'll move that one out of the way. I have no idea where it went. Okay, just pretend I took the embossing buddy and I just rubbed it on there. What the embossing buddy does is it takes off the excess static so that your embossing powder doesn't stick everywhere. And I can't believe I lost it on my desk. I mean, I had it just before I went live. Seriously. Oh, good grief. Okay, well, things happen. We just move on. All right, let's go ahead and take this again. We're going to ink this back up. That's really driving me crazy. I really don't know where it went. Huh. Okay. I'm sure it's here somewhere. I bet I put it with tomorrow's tomorrow's projects because yeah, I sure did. Shoot, did it just in the nick of time. So you can get an accessories pack, embossing accessories pack. You get a tray, you get a paintbrush, you get this little tweezers, and then you get your embossing buddy. So we're going to go ahead and just rub that all over and tap it a little bit to get some of that out of there. All right. So I'm going to take this now. Oh, danger, Will Robinson. Drop that right on my desktop. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stamp this. Again, not pushing hard, just letting the ink kind of soak in. Now I'll take this. All right, and then we'll just scooch the powder down. Tap it off. All right, just like that. Now, before I actually do my embossing, I'm going to close this up because you don't want this to fly all over and you don't want it to melt in the container. Ask me how I know that. All right, now I'm going to get this off because that's full of dust. Put that aside for tomorrow. We'll get our embossing gun. I do like to warm up my embossing gun a little bit before I actually emboss my images. I like to have it nice and warm so that way it goes through faster and it heats everything up faster. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go in the back of my cardstock here, and hopefully you can see that on the video. I'm trying to get in far enough here. So you'll start to see it change. So it goes from that dust into that shiny. That's what we want, that shiny. So I'm just going to move this so I can see it here. You don't have to like do it like this when you're like, you know, drying your hair. You can just slowly move it and keep that heat consistent and even. And you can tell the areas where it's not done. It'll be dull and powdery like versus all shiny. All right, so we got our all shiny there. Let's do our next one. So those tweezers are really good if you had a small piece. So if I had that 3x3 piece of cardstock, it would be really good to hold it and not have your fingers get hot. I'm just doing, it's kind of awkward because I'm trying to show it on the camera at the same time I'm heating it. Back a little bit more, make sure I gotten everything. All right, as long as everything looks shiny, then I know I've gotten it all. So now, our next step will be to fussy cut this out. Oh, I know I said the word fussy cut. It's okay. It's not bad. It's pretty easy to cut around. Just remember, when you're cutting, you're turning your paper, not your scissors. Scissors are made of metal. They're not going to turn and be flexible. Your paper is. It doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times I will kind of cut off some of the excess so that I can get it to be what I want it to be. All right, so here I can come back and I can trim that down. And I'm almost going right up to where I've embossed. On the top is a little harder, so I didn't go all the way. I'm not cutting into my embossed area. I'm cutting right up to it, though. And then we'll cut in here. Shoop, shoop. All right, I'll get this other one. piece for tomorrow. All right. So this, I know this is the slower part, but today has like been a long day, so kind of hard for me to think and cut at the same time. Usually I can chat away, but I don't know. I've been really tired the last few days. I think it's because days are getting shorter, and I am very much a sunlight person. I need to have sunlight to like wake up and have energy. My body goes into hibernation mode when the light starts going. All right, got that done. I'm just going to snip off this extra here, just so it doesn't get caught on everything I'm doing. And we'll throw that away. All right, let's bring in our base. All about that base. Okay, sorry. Okay, we got that. We've got our sentiment. And we're going to pull in our sequins. All right. Oops, that came untied. So I'm just going to retie it again. The other thing that these little tweezers are great for is this. So let's say I don't have someone to hold that down for me. I can just get that. And then I can continue on with my bow. There we go. Squeeze it, pull it out. And then just give my bow a little tug. All right, make it tight. And you can trim that down, but I'm leaving it long. Like I said, they're going to be tying it. So now I'm going to just kind of layer my sweaters where I want them to be. Okay, I've got my little bow. There we go. Slide it off to the side a little bit. Okay, so I got those two there. By putting these sweaters right here, it's going to hold on to that linen thread or that baker's twine, so I don't have to worry about it coming off. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to adhere this one down. I am going to put liquid glue on it. So yes, I use a variety of different adhesive on my projects. I don't just stick with any one. Why? Because, you know, you need the right adhesive to do the right job. All right. There's one. If I want to just make sure it's going to stay down, put a block on top of it. Now this one, I'm going to put up on dimensionals. Just going to grab our dimensionals. I'm not going to put a dimensional on the bottom though. Okay. I'll do it about midway. So we got the 3/4 inch sleeve going, right? All right. Ding. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and use my take a pick tool here and pick these up. So when you're crafting, I'm going to challenge you. See how many backings you can get off onto your take a pick tool, right, before you have to clear it off. Just a fun thing for you to do. All right. So now I'm going to put this down right here. I'm going to bring in my Sending Joy. Notice I haven't put adhesive on it yet because I want to see, and actually I think this little dimensional will have to move up a little bit more. There we go. Because I want this to overlap here. I don't want to cover my, I don't want to cover my words, but I do want to overlap my sleeve a little bit. All right. Okay. So there we go. This is where I'm going to put my adhesive. All right. So I'm going to take my liquid glue. I'm going to put it right under the sweater underneath. Okay, that'll grab hold of that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive on my sleeve. And that one got tucked under kind of far. All right, we'll put our block down there. A little bit of adhesive on the sleeve. Hold it down for a couple of seconds. Use my block again. All right. Now, this isn't really supported. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick one more underneath. I don't want it to stick past this edge, all right? There. Because when they open up your card, if you have your banner hanging down too far, what's going to happen is it's going to get stuck, right? So now on this particular one, I had wrapped it all the way around like this, but in the instructions, I wrote it more like this. All right, so that is our card right there. We just need to add our embellishments. Let me put my little tools away because we don't need them for the next project. All right, and grab whatever colors you want. I'm going to grab red one there. And I think I'll grab a green one. You're going to have more than enough for these projects. And we'll grab, I don't know, we'll grab a larger blue one here. All right. Now, if you want more than 3 on there, you can put more than you want. All right, so insert your gift card and you are ready to go. All right, that was our first project. Let's get to our next one. Okay. Project number 2 is going to be our little box. So let's go step by step on this one. I don't need my verse mark, so let's move that out. I am going to need my garden green, which I think I have out already. Here we go. All right. Okay, first things first, let's get our cardstock. So we need a piece of crumb cake. I will need my designer series paper, and I'm going to need these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this out. I don't want those pieces falling out, so I just slid it out with some of the paper. All right, now for paper, I want to grab the wreath side here. All right. And I'm going to grab the other pieces that I need right away. So I need to have, I need the bird. I need the present. So let me, you can kind of see right here, the bird, the present. I then need another present. And I need, it doesn't really matter what else, what other thing you grab, just grab some sort of little leaves or something. I'm actually going to grab this one, I think. All right. Oh, I need one more because I'm going to do one on the inside too. All right. Oh no, I don't have one on the inside. Never mind. Okay. Alrighty. The other thing that we'll need from your little bag of dies here, you're going to need this label right here. And that looks to be it. Okay, Oops, I forgot one piece. I forgot 2 pieces of paper. We need our box top and our bottom. So let me grab the paper again. So I need a piece of my plaid here. And then I need a piece of this flower pattern here. Oh, that's not the right one. I want the one that has the holly. There we go. Again, you can grab whatever pieces you want. You'll have extra pieces. All right. Now I got everything I need here. I need a strip of red. So, we'll get our red cardstock out. Where's my real red? Oh, wrong package. Those are my extras of my extras. Now, just trying to see later on, I need another piece of I'm going to cut this red right here to be 4 1/4 inch. All right, 4 1/4 by 11. I'm doing that because I know later on I'll need this. I'll need a piece that's a little shorter than that, so I can use this. So I'm going to cut off a 1/2 inch piece right from here. All right, that's all I need the red for. I will need my trimmer, but we're going to do our scoring first here. Because there's a little bit to that trimming, so I want to... Now, why I said... Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. So we're going to take our box bottom and lid. Oh, please, I just spilled something. All right. So let's grab our score tool again, our Simply Score tool. And we're going to take this piece right here. This is our plaid one. This is going to be our bottom of our box. So I'm going to score it at 2 inches on all 4 sides. Now, when you're scoring your designer series paper, do it multiple times. Don't press really hard because you don't want to cut through your paper, all right? So lightly do it. All right. Okay, so then make our box here. All right, I just want to make sure that I have that scored well. Again, I don't want to press too hard because that will tear your paper. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to trim this. And I actually have my pattern right here. I thought I had my pattern right here. There it is. Okay. So just pick 2 of the sides that you're going to cut on. All right. So I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to cut along this score line and cut as straight as I can. And I'm going to turn it around and do it on the opposite side. Do it on the opposite side here. All right, so now I've got it like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our adhesive and we are going to form our box. So we're going to kind of roll everything together, all right? So we're going to take these and roll them in. So the easiest thing to do is to fold these down. Again, I like to use tear and tape on this for, or liquid glue. I'm going to actually use my liquid glue. I just need my handy dandy little clothespins, which I believe I have right here. Uh-oh, where'd it go? I had them right here. All right, there we go. Okay, if I don't use liquid glue, I guess I'm going to use, I don't know, tear and tape then. I don't know where they went. Okay. Because I put them away somewhere, we'll just go ahead and use our tear and tape. You know what? I'm going to use liquid glue. We're still going to do it. Okay. So these two pieces are going to be on the inside. It's up to you. If you didn't cut very straight, just look at the area that you did cut straight, you know, and then put it on the outside. So like for me, I think I cut that a little bit straighter. But you do you, all right? I'm just going to go ahead and someone must be here. Sorry, my dog is going kind of mental. So someone must be pulling up. It must be the Amazon guy or someone, because that's when he goes mental. How many of you have a dog that just freaks out when Amazon or UPS come? And they come and visit my house frequently, so not that I'm a shopaholic, but I do have a lot of UPS deliveries from Stampin' Up! Coming. And that's probably actually what's coming at the door. All right, so I'm just going to roll these under, just like this. Get them in place, and I'm just going to hold on to it. Normally I have I have a little clothespin. I take a little clothespin and I just hold it in place. All right, then I go to the next one. So let's go ahead. We'll go to this one. Good. And on this side. Notice I'm putting the glue on the outer flaps. If I put it on the inner flaps, I would just be worried that I'd have glue on the inside of my box, and that's not where I want it. I want it all on the outside here. All right. So we'll take this off and just put it right there. And we'll just leave that sit for a minute while we do our lid. All right. Now for the lid, I did actually put in there how to trim this piece of paper down. So we want a piece that's 3.5 by 3.5. So what I did is I actually cut it my 3.5 right here. All right, so I have a piece right here. That's 3.5. Move that aside. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it at 3.5 over here. So I'm just trimming down just a tad off that. And then this is the piece I'll be using. All right. So on this piece here, we're going to be scoring all 4 sides at 3.25. So I'm just going to go, since I have my trimmer right here, I'm just going to measure 3.25. I'm going to use my gray blade, the light one. The dark one should go back in its stall. So again, going back and forth several times. I am not pressing down hard. And again, 3/4 inch. 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. And just like the box top, we're going to trim in our edges. Oh, I forgot one side. Oh, no, I didn't. I have it there. It's just done very, very lightly. Okay. So now let's take our snips. Where do my snips go? All right. And I'm just going to do my side here. I'm going to flip it around and do the side here. I'm going right up to that other score line. All right. So now I have these little tabs. All right. So these little tabs right here. Okay. I'm going to put adhesive on these tabs and then tuck it underneath that. All right. So I like to have those down. I take a little bit of adhesive. And I'm just going to roll that up, making sure I make those corners meet. All right, again, I'll do it on this side, get the corner to meet, give it a little bit of squeeze. It doesn't want it, you don't have to do tight to the corner, just close to that corner. All right, and now we'll take our box here and just put this right on top. Your box will just, you'll probably have to put it in just a little bit, push it in a little bit. But you want to have it so it doesn't fall apart, okay? That's the biggest part of it. All right, so we've got our box in place. Let's take our linen thread. Now this time I said you need about 60 inches. I know, it's a lot, right? But we're going to be tying a nice little double bow around here. So one, okay, that's 24, 48, and 60. So trim that down. You have lots of stuff there. Lots of linen thread. All right. I'm going to double up my linen thread. Oops, and I got it in a knot. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to tie this around my box. Kind of have my box in place there. So just decide which way you want your box to go. And take our ribbon here. Oop. All right. Having a really hard time here. I don't have these even. Hold on. That, and I have liquid glue on my fingers. All right. Let's just do this. There we go. All right. So it's kind of like gift wrapping. Now you have more than enough. 60 inches would probably way excessive. You can probably go smaller, but this way. I wanted to make sure I told you more than enough versus not having enough. All right, now I'm just going to trim this end here. trim these down just a little bit. Again, if they're tying and untying the box, you do want your tails to be a little long. All right, so I put that there. Now we're going to make our card base. And I'm going to take a sip of water. All right. So we need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to just take my crumb cake cardstock here and I'm going to just cut it right in half. And we'll put that aside. All right. And I got that piece. I need my label. So I've got my label. So this was 3.5 by 2.5. So I die cut that for you. And then we have our 1/2 inch by 4.25 inch strip of red. And I think we're done with those. All right. So we're going to score this at 4.25. Oh, I just cut it in half. Careful. So just make sure that you're using your scoring blade, not your cutting blade. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to put my folded side here, so that's my score side, over to the 1 inch mark here. All right. And I'm going to cut from 2 inches up. And I'm just trying to make sure I had that at 2 inches. So this line right here is 2 inches. So I'm going to do 2 inches, push down, and I'm going to push it up. Okay. Now I'm going to, knocked over my trimmer. I'm just going to flip this over. And that was at 1 inch. So now I'm going to move this to 3 inches and go almost to 3/16. Okay. And again, I'm going to come down to my 2 inch mark. So you can see in your trimmer where 2 inches is. So I just need to stand up so I can see it. I'm going to go right to 2 inches, right there. All right. Then we're going to take this, turn it, and we're just going to cut from there to there. So get over here. All right, so you have that little piece out. So now this is where your box will slide into. You didn't want to make it much looser because you want that box to stay in place. So that's the other reason that you have that extra twine there. It'll kind of keep that in place versus falling out. So we're going to move this box out of the way. And we are going to go ahead and get our designer series paper here. So we're going to take this right here and this piece. We're going to cut this down to 1 3/4 by 5.5. Remember, that was what we cut out from the lid. So 1 3/4. Basically, if you're trimming, it's right where that pattern ends. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to make sure I'm right on that edge. There we go. So that's 1 3/4. And then 5.5. If I can pick that up, that would be great. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. You could have actually left this whole piece on, but you'd have to try and cover that big chunk. So we're actually leaving that one off. Let's adhere this one down. And since I have my liquid glue out, I am just going to use that. And I do want to make sure I'm getting all four of my corners there, because I don't want that to come up on me. All right. And this is where I said I need to have my little silicone mat. All right, what did I do with it though? Here it is. It's buried. Hang on. It's buried. Okay. All right. The reason I want my silicone mat is I'm going to be placing this on here, and I don't want to get glue on my desktop. All right. So I'm just going to smooth it out. Now, if I cut a little funny, I can always turn it over right now and trim it away. Now, one thing I did not include in the instructions was to have another piece of white here. You're going to have enough extra white, so go ahead and grab a piece of white. And this piece is going to measure 5.5 by 1 3/4. So same as that designer series paper. This is kind of a thing that I thought about after. I'm like, oh, I should have added that in the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the inside. This gives me a place to sign my card. And it also gives me a little bit of stability in my card. Okay, I should have put my mat down. All right. All right. Okay. I gotta clean my desk off for tomorrow. All right. That just gives me some added strength. And again, that's where I can sign. All right, let's take that. And now let's start decorating our card. And we're going to take this 1/2 inch strip here, and we're just going to put it right on this opening. Okay, it'll kind of cover right there. So we want to get it to the edge of that box. Again, if you prefer using a seal, use your seal. I already figured my hands were all sticky anyways. I might as well just keep going. All right, and just get out to the edge here. All right. It doesn't matter that this doesn't run all the way across. It's no worry. We're going to be putting our label. Oh, I forgot our tree. Okay, so we've got our label right here. Now, before we go any further, I do need to take another piece of cardstock, which I've forgotten to tell you about. So we're going to grab a piece of garden green from our bag here. And what we can do is cut a piece that is 2 inches by 3 inches. This is for your tree. Okay, I'm just going to go 3 inches right here. All right. We're going to grab our In the Pines, or pine tree trimmings, and we're going to grab whichever tree you want. I'm going to happen to use this one. So put that on a block. We're going to grab our garden green. All right. Go ahead and stamp this right on there. All right, now while I have my garden green out, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm stamping "'Tis the Season." And I'm going to stamp that right on the front of my card, right in the lower right corner. All right, we're going to pull in our die cut machine now and go ahead and die cut this out. So I'm just going to grab my little mini machine here. Now, for almost all your projects, we do some die cutting, especially when we're using the pine tree trimmings. So have that out. When we're using this Stay Warm, we've already done most of the die cutting of things for you. So let's go ahead and grab out our handy dandy little dies. So let me just pull that open. And you get this little thing of dies right here. This is a really affordable bundle. So if you didn't get it when you got the craft along, you may want to think about it. I am actually putting a class out tonight, actually. And I'll show you what those classes are. That's using the Pine Tree Trimmings bundle. So you get even additional card ideas. You'll have a plethora of ideas. All right. And save this piece for later because we will use it later. All right. Okay, now that we got that die cut, we can keep going with decorating our card. So I've got one of the presents here. All right. I don't need that there. I've got one of my birds right here. So I think I'm going to put that a little higher. Doesn't exactly, it really doesn't matter where you put that. It's whatever your liking is. And I like to do my little building of my scene before I actually glue everything down. So I'm just kind of overlapping my presents there, putting my little bird over here. My goal is not to have the white from this label show down below. So I'm just kind of layering things. And I'm going to pop him up on a dimensional. And I'm going to pop my tree up on dimensionals. All right. And the other pieces I'll end up just gluing down. So let's go ahead and get stuff for our tree here. Okay. We'll get a couple little dimensionals for our cardinal here. All right. And let's glue these down. So we'll just grab our seal this time since I don't want to get more sticky. All right. So I haven't peeled the backing off yet. I just want to put this back so I know exactly where I'm going with my gifts. All right, so I'm doing one right here. And I'm doing this one. I want to tuck behind here a little bit. Put my tree right there. Again, I'm just trying to cover that bottom. All right. Now it's your choice at this point if you want to use your traditional trimming sequins or your little shaker sequins. I'm going to use the traditional trimming ones, but you can definitely use the other ones. All right. So I've got my little robin, or my little cardinal popped up there. I'm going to pull in our little... One of the key tips I have for this is slide your sequins. Okay, that'll kind of lift up that, you know, the glue dot that's underneath there. And I'm going to use a variety of colors. I'm going to kind of decorate my tree here. I'm going to use the small ones. Well, hello, Cooper. My dog is in here telling me it is time for dinner. And as I get towards the bottom of the tree, I'm going to use some of the larger ones. All right. And then I can add a couple over here. Now, on my original one, I put this little leaf there. I didn't even glue it down. I was trying to see if I like that. If you want to use more things from your die cut pieces, feel free. That one I'm going to just save for another project. Okay, I'm going to put a couple over here yet. So I want another small one, and I'm going to take another large one. Okay. All right. So here it is. and wait for the magic. And we've got our little box that'll slide right in here. Now, it fits snug. It's supposed to, because you don't want that card to open up too far, and you don't want the box falling out. So that is your other project. It's kind of hard to show you that way. So we've got this, and then your gift card holder. So thanks for joining me today. We'll be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. again for day 2. So we'll be making 2 more projects tomorrow. Can't wait to spend more time with you. Thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll see you all tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time right here on Facebook, and immediately after I'll be copying it up to YouTube. Thank you.